abnormally large airplanes that actually exist. The wonder of flight never fails to astound, and the spectacle is made even more incredible as the planes are longer than Olympic swimming pools, bigger than the world's largest tanks, and taller than 5-story houses. This is not the only way to determine an aircraft's size. Weight, length, and even volume are all relevant criteria. Taking all of these considerations into account, we've assembled a list of the world's 10 biggest airplanes. Antonov AN225 Mriya. The Antonov AN225 is the world's largest plane by certain measures. Just one of these massive freight planes was designed by the Antonov Design Bureau, the Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic. Antonov planned it to transport the Buran spaceplane, the Soviet equivalent of the space shuttle, as well as Energia rocket boosters, but after the Soviet space program collapsed, the plane soon found other airlifting jobs. With a gross takeoff weight of 710 tons, the AN225 is the heaviest aircraft ever constructed. With a cumulative payload of 559,580 pounds and a single-item payload of 118,830 pounds, it holds the record for total airlifted payload. It has the 290-foot wingspan of any plane currently in the air, as well as 6 cylinders. The hulking aircraft entered the worldwide war against COVID-19 in 2020 when it took to the sky to provide supplies to countries around the world with limited funding due to the pandemic. Aerospace line's SuperGuppy. Since the air traffic controllers were skeptical that the plane would ever get off the ground, they alerted the police and fire services. The SuperGuppy, on the other hand, proved them wrong. The strange new aircraft took to the sky near Los Angeles on September 19, 1962. Former Air Force pilot Jack Conroy launched a new era of aerial transport led the Aerospace line's Guppy family of aircraft as he took off and successfully landed this specially modified hulk of a jet. While a Guppy is prey, the SuperGuppy is a hunter. Except for NASA, every agency in the world has retired the bloated aircraft. The Guppy's large dimensions are ideal for carrying satellites and rocket parts, according to the U.S. Space Agency. The first SuperGuppy was built from the fuselage of a Boeing C-97 Strato freighter, which flew for the first time in 1965. The Airbus Beluga has effectively substituted the turboprop cargo plane for massive and oddly shaped cargo transport, but the SuperGuppy can continue to perplex people in the sky as long as NASA has a need for it, and NASA loves the SuperGuppy. Lockheed C5 Galaxy. The modernization of the C5 brings significant improvements in reliability, performance, maintainability, and availability, ensuring that this vital national strategic airlift resource continues to serve the warfighter well into the 21st century. The C5 has been a vital tool of national strategy since its inception. The C5 has unrivaled capability to transport immense loads over long distances, from Israel's security in the Yom Kippur War to the air bridge assisting coalition forces in Desert Storm. The C5 Galaxy is the largest aircraft regularly flown by the U.S. military, with a cargo capacity of nearly 135 tons. In May 2017, the Air Force announced that the monster airlifter will be reactivated. The C5 will transport 2 M1 Abrams tanks, 16 Humvees, 3 Black Hawk helicopters, and a host of other equipment. The C5 can fly up to 7,000 miles or refueling without passengers, making it the world's longest-range military airlifter. The C5 is used by the Air Force because it has to transport a large amount of cargo easily. Boeing 747 Dreamlifter. The Boeing 747 Dreamlifter, also known as the Boeing 747-400 large cargo freighter, is a wide-body cargo plane based on the Boeing 747-400 airliner that has been heavily adapted. The Dreamlifter has a capacity of 65,000 cubic feet, which is 3 times that of a 747-400F freighter. It is mainly used to deliver Boeing 787 Dreamliner aircraft parts from manufacturers all around the world to Boeing's assembly plants. Boeing wanted a passenger plane with a lot of room in the 2000s to ship components for the 787 Dreamliner, which has parts manufactured all over the world. The Dreamlifter has the world's biggest cargo hold, measuring 65,000 cubic feet and capable of handling 3 times the capacity of a 747-400F freighter. Boeing's 4 Dreamlifters also feature the world's longest freight loader, which can transport payloads of up to 125 tons. Antonov AN225 Ruslan. The Antonov ASTC, based in Kyiv, Ukraine, designed the AN225 Ruslan, NATO reporting name Condor, a very large freight transport aircraft. Aviant State Aviation Plant in Kiev and Aviastar in Ulyanovsk, Russia produce it. The AN225 flew for the first time in December 1982 and went into operations in January 1986. In 1985, the aircraft made its debut at the Paris Air Show. A total of 60 planes have been built. The Russian Army has 25 AN-124 fighter jets. The Antonov Architecture Bureau has produced yet another monstrosity. The Russian Air Force operates the AN-124 Ruslan, which is the world's largest military aircraft. Apart from the single AN-225, the AN-124, NATO reporting name Condor, was the world's biggest and heaviest cargo aircraft for almost 30 years since its launch in 1984. In 2011, the 747-8F surpassed the AN-124. The AN-124 will haul even more than the C5 Galaxy, with a recorded payload capability of 165 tons, but its range isn't as long. The AN-124 is a Soviet engineering victory that continues to fly airlifting missions for Russia. Boeing B52 Strato. The B-52 was first put into operation in 1955, and the first B-52H, the new model, was introduced in 1961. The B-52 bomber is the Air Force's patriarch, aging but still capable of delivering a devastating blow. From precision-guided conventional bombs to nuclear warheads, the buff, big ugly fat fucker can carry 70,000 pounds of weapons. While the B-2 stealth bomber and B-1 supersonic bomber could be retired as the B-21 is launched, the Air Force needs to upgrade the B-52's reliable engines to increase performance and range. As the B-52 begins its sixth decade in operation, the equipment in its cargo hold continues to advance, with the Air Force preparing to arm the bomber with the long-range standoff missile, a stealthy nuclear cruise missile. Airbus Beluga. When the Airbus A300-600 ST, also known as the Beluga, takes to the sky over North Wales, it is a sight to behold. The super transporter, with one of the largest cargo holds of any civil or military aircraft, provides a one-of-a-kind system for carrying overweight air cargo. Similar to the Dreamlifter, the Airbus 300-600 super transporter, also known as the Beluga, was intended to carry massive and uncomfortable aircraft components. Airbus engineers planned and constructed various parts of the craft in countries such as the United Kingdom, Germany, France, and Spain. Its 124-foot-long payload bay has a capacity of nearly 52 tons. Boeing 747. The Dreamlifter is still on the record, but it just scratches the surface of the Queen of the Sky's achievements. Boeing has produced over 1,500 Boeing 747s, which have operated as the world's largest passenger and cargo aircraft, a military command center in the atmosphere, Air Force One, as well as a space shuttle lifter and infrared telescope flyer for NASA. Iron Maiden has one as well, dubbed Ed Force One. Airlines are phasing out the aircraft in favor of single-aisle versions that will now fly far enough to cross oceans. The Boeing 747, being the only four-engine jumbo jet mass-produced in the United States, has a long life ahead of it. MacDonald Douglas KC-10 Extender. The MacDonald Douglas KC-10 Extender is the world's largest fuel tanker aircraft. The aircraft will carry a huge volume of fuel, 52,250 gallons, due to its 164-foot wingspan. The aircraft is purchasing a new tanker, the Boeing KC-46 Pegasus, which will be more powerful and have more sophisticated avionics than the KC-10, but the tri-jet extender will still have a fuel power advantage of around 70 tons over the Pegasus. The KC-10 has three main wing tanks for jet fuel, as well as huge fuel tanks under the cargo base. It can be flown with a crew of 75 people and 73 tons of freight, or with an all-cargo configuration of 85 tons of cargo. StrataLaunch. The StrataLaunch, designed by Paul Allen, is a massive aircraft. The world's longest wingspan is 385 feet from tip to tip on the composite six-engine twin-fuselage aircraft. StrataLaunch's wings would stretch a further 12.5 feet across the goalposts on both sides if it were mounted on a football field. The plane will take rockets into the stratosphere and lower them there, where they will fly into orbit. StrataLaunch can transport up to 3 small launch vehicles at once. Virgin Orbit is working on a related proposal to use a 747-400 to launch rockets. StrataLaunch tested medium and high-speed runways for the first time in 2018, the first time it moved under the control of its 6 Pratt & Whitney turbofan engines. It took to the air for its first test flight a year later. The 2.5-hour journey was breathtaking. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss out on any future ones.